Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's good, off the shortstop's glove! Just like we drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
And we welcome you to the Camden Athletic Complex, just beneath the Ben Franklin Bridge here in Camden County. This game in the non-public bracket has the potential to be one of the highest attended in the ballpark's history. People have been lining the gates and lining the foul lines since an hour before first pitch. As we've got a battle between the Shore and the Tri-County, it's the Ranney Panthers and the Gloucester Catholic Rams here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting for a Wednesday night beautiful showdown here on a hot but pleasant evening from Camden. The right-hander Jackson Smelletz is starting for the Gloucester Catholic Rams as, well, Ranney and GC are familiar foes. They played just about 2 weeks ago with GC taking the win in Brooklyn, New York by a score of 4-3. But they move into this playoff game now with new hopes and new heights to this matchup. A pitcher-friendly ballpark in Camden could sway the hitters' way with the wind blowing out. For Ranney, this ballpark is a little bit unfamiliar to at least those in attendance, but for GC, this ballpark is all too familiar, as Smalich will be ready to go versus the Ranney Panthers. Let's bring up the Ranney starting lineup for this evening's game, brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School. For the Panthers this afternoon, Brody Marrow will be the first baseman with Ricky Lopez at short, Andrew Parisi at third base, Justin Kaufman in center, Nate Fuller is the designated hitter, Curtis Krapufka will be in right, Rob Roble at second, Brody Gargulio is the catcher, and then Braden Cox in left field. J.L. Galena, the sophomore, gets the start. We're ready to go here at 7 o'clock on the dot. Here in Camden, Smaletz, the tall, lanky right-hander, delivers. And a first pitch is outside. We're underway, 1-0. With the train, Patco passing overhead from the ballpark, getting you a great view of the field. Good fastball there, gets the strike, and it's 1-1. So Mauro, 6'3" sophomore, batting out of the left box. Facing a Coastal Carolina commit in Jackson Smaletz, one of several who have either been to Coastal Carolina from South Jersey or are going to be attending there. Of course, Cam Fluke out of Egg Harbor Township, Sam Winsett out of Eastern, and of course former Haddon Heights product Caden Bodine, who's getting some MLB draft buzz. That ball's ripped left field by Mauro, going up, going back, and it's caught in left field by Mikey Angelo, or check that, by GC's left fielder Brody Gates. There's one away. That'll bring up Lopez, the shortstop. We're going to take a look at Smalet's stats for this afternoon or evening's game. The Coastal Carolina commit with 56 strikeouts and a 1 flat ERA. He's had a career ERA of below 1.5 and only has a handful of earned runs allowed this season. That one misses, 1-0. One ball, no strikes to Lopez, the shortstop. Barely got a piece of it off the end of the bat, right on top of it. And it's 1-1. Again, as we said, Ranney and GC have played in back-to-back-to-back years. Pretty much every year in the Group B tournament, they find a way to get in a matchup with GC. This matchup itself actually has some history. One of the first big playoff games I was supposed to cover was June 3rd, 2023, between these two teams. It was supposed to be a Saturday afternoon game at Gloucester Catholic in Brooklawn, as that one's ripped foul. And it was supposed to be at 1 o'clock. But at that time, I was a junior in high school, and I was completing my SATs that day. And everything ran long, and I didn't get out of the SAT room until 12:30, so we never got a chance to cover Ranney. So this game here at Camden tonight is kind of coming full circle for our coverage here, with Ranney being the 11th Shore Conference team to pick up a game on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hot shot over the middle. That's a base hit in the center field. Lopez gets the party started with a single back up the middle. And now that will bring up the number 3 hitter for the Panthers, Andrew Parisi, to third baseman. Again, facing a high-profile right-hander in Smallets. I think the big story today is going to be how can Ranney just get the ball rolling early. You don't want to wait until the 5th or 6th inning to get some momentum going, because by that time it probably will be too late for a team that's 21-3 this season. 0-1 to Parisi after a swing and a miss that time. Here's the 0-1. Outside. Crowd still filing in here on this Wednesday evening in Camden. 81 degrees at first pitch tonight. With the wind making it a little bit more tolerable. That one's lined right center field. It's up, it's back, it's off the bottom of the wall. This is gonna be trouble in center field. Getting the stop sign around third. The helmet comes in behind him. The throw has some trouble getting in, and Andrew Parisi gets the fireworks started on the waterfront with a double out to right center field. And with one away, the Panthers have contributed some loud cracks of the bat in the first 3 batters, as now Kaufman will be the batter. As Kaufman will attempt to force GC to cough up a run here with 2 runners on in scoring position in the top of the first. Single back up the middle by Lopez. That was preceded by a fly out to left field. Throw back to third is not in time. All 3 at-bats have ended with a good hit and a good barrel by Ranney. Kaufman, the 4-hitter. For Ranney, he'll be followed by Fuller, the DH. The pitch, that's a grounder. Ranney's putting the ball in play, and good things are happening. They're going to get a run. Throw to first is in time. RBI ground out for the Panthers. Scoring is Lopez. And Ranney takes a 1-0 lead with some advice in the on-deck circle headed for Fuller. I like teams who put the ball in play like that. Some do it loud, some do it quietly. Everybody does it differently, and it all works out together. Single, double, RBI ground out to the shortstop slot. It's the second out of the inning, but it scores Lopez, and it moves Andrew Parisi to third. Here's a designated hitter, Fuller. He'll show bunt, gets behind it there, and it's out of play. Nate Fuller, one of several sophomores starting in the lineup today, including Brody Morrow, Rob Wobel, and Brody Gargulio. Fuller, a .444 hitter, 12 for 27. 1 home run, 3 extra base hits, and a .630, very impressive .630 slugging percentage. As there's a strike called. No balls, 2 strikes. In the on-deck circle will be Krapufka. First 3 for Gloucester Catholic will be Lynham, Bogart, and Lipoff. Ready to go, runner on third. Ranney with the first bite here in Camden. Yotu, slider on the outside corner, called strike 3, and the inning is over. Ranney gets a run home on a ground out back up the middle by Kaufman, but nothing more. They get 2 hits and a run, and they leave 1 aboard, 1-0 after a half frame. J.L. Galena is the pitcher for the Ranney Panthers this evening. Let's take a look at his stats for this evening's game here in Camden. He's got a 3.96 ERA, 26 Ks, 5 walks, and 10 earned runs. So even though his ERA is higher, hey, guess what? Starting pitching matchup where pitchers have allowed 10 and 8 earned runs respectively could limit the bats tonight. The only difference is that, like we said, Smalitz has thrown a lot more innings, hence the difference. Let's take a look at this 21-3 Gloucester Catholic Rams starting lineup, brought to you by Harper Driving School. In the leadoff spot for the Rams, I don't know why the buttons aren't working tonight. We'll have to bring it up with the human volition. Guy Lynham, the commit to Auburn, is in DH spot. Jason Bogart at second. Braden Lipoff, the East Carolina commit, is behind the dish, batting third. Jack Mastero takes first base, batting fourth out of the left-handed batter's box. Brody Gates in left. Noah Danza at the sixth slot, and at the sixth slot in the field at shortstop. Henry Pancoast in center field. Mikey Angelo at third, the freshman, and Jude Morgan in right field. Leading us off in the bottom of the first, again, the designated hitter committed to Auburn, Guy Lynham. Of course, one of several Division I commits that have made their presence known for Gloucester Catholic, a team that has only lost 3 times this year, once in a Diamond Classic to Cherokee. I still think that if they didn't have to play a doubleheader in the semifinal round of the Diamond, Gloucester Catholic probably would have been in the final. That one's a nice hop over the middle. Nice play at short, and he got him, one away. 6-3 ground out to turn it over. Now the batter is Bogart. So Galena forces an early ground out. GC's 3 losses after a loud start. They actually lost 3 of 4 in a row, which have been their only losses of the season. May 7th to Clearview in a regular season matchup. Cherokee in the quarterfinal round of the Diamond Classic. And then Stony Brook School 2-0 of New York back on May the 18th. So only 2 of those 3 losses have come to in-state opponents, and then, well, only 1 has been in their conference. Another high chopper. Same song, second verse. How about this? He got him again. Nice play over the middle there by Lopez. He's got 2 ground outs of similar varieties. And the Rams have been 2 up, 2 down to bring up the East Carolina commit, Lipoff. Been hearing a lot of high praise about this ballpark from the visitors who come in from Tinton Falls, New Jersey, in Monmouth County. Pitch from Galena is a strike called on the outside corner, 0-1. I was actually, last night, I was not too far from where Ranney is. I was only about 15 minutes from there. I went to the PNC Bank Arts Center in Holmdel for a concert. So I was not too far from Ranney territory, right off the Garden State Parkway. But it's a 1-1 count to Lipoff. The left-hander Jack Mastero is on deck for the Rams. And skips away. Here's pitch. That one skips away. And it's 3-1. So back-to-back ground outs to the shortstop. Now a chance for Lipoff to break the stalemate, at least early in this one. Ranney leads at 1-0. That'll be ball 4. So Lipoff takes the trip down to first base and takes his talents to be GC's first base runner of the evening. Now it'll be Jack Mastero. Uncommitted first baseman at the moment. He's a senior who is probably one of the most outstanding 3-sport athletes that I have ever seen. I mean, football, he didn't play this year, but he played as a junior and a sophomore as a football player. He recently broke GC's all-time scoring record for basketball, which is not an easy feat, but if you've watched Jack Mastero play basketball, he's got maybe the smoothest release of any guard I've ever seen in South Jersey. Just the 3-point buckets, they went in like nothing before. And he's a powerful first baseman for GC on the diamond. He's able to do it all. Runner goes. Runner will get down there safely as the ball got away. And Lipoff gets to second base safely. A little bit surprised they're not using a courtesy runner with 2 down. Hold on here. First base coach is, we're having an argument here with the first base coach with Gloucester Catholic. The umpire is running over. I'm not sure what the argument was. Lipoff got down to second. And the umpire with maybe a bit of a long leash. Now the home plate umpire is coming out and kind of telling everybody to cool it. I mean, it's the first inning. If this is the energy in the first inning, we might be in a war by the end of the ball game. Here's the pitch from Galena. There's a ground ball foul. Again, I'm not sure what the argument was, to be quite honest with you. Lipoff got down to second. The catcher dropped the ball. And it just seemed like it came out of nowhere. I was really surprised. But either way, we've got a 2-1 count to Mistero. 6'2", 195 as a senior. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Mistero, a career 383 hitter, 457 this year with 2 long balls, 22 RBI, 32 for 70, and a .600 slugging percentage. Roble, Gargulio, and Cox will lead off for the Panthers in the top of the second. Here's the pitch. Down, 3-2. And I'll tell you this, I think first base coach over there, if he continues that, not going to gain any favorability with the home plate umpire either. The human element of the game knows no bounds, especially in high school baseball. Galena steps off. Gates, the left fielder, on deck. Three balls, 2 strikes. Galena, swing and a miss. He got him. Inning over. Galena strikes out Mistero swinging, and a bit of a hot-headed first frame ends with Ranney up 1-0. We'll be right back.
One nothing Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0.
Going into the top of the second, it's a busy night here in Camden, including for those on the pedestrian bridge. And it's a busy night for our friends in the media as well, Jersey Sports Zone is here. Colin Conway is somewhere around here from D2 Sports Network, but I digress. We've got, Krapufka leads us off, followed by Roble and Gargulio for the Panthers. Here in the top of the second, 1-0 Panthers lead as he gets a foul tip. And it's 0-1. 5 men came to the plate for Ranney in the top of the first. They got a base hit from Lopez, a double from Parisi, and a run home. GC went down to end the inning on a Jack Mastero strikeout. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes here to Kaprufka, the right fielder in today's contest. Curtis Kaprufka in 4 varsity seasons, a career .391 hitter. He's got 6 home runs in his varsity career. Could be 7 if the wind plays in his favor tonight. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Smallets picks up his second strikeout, and there's 1 away. Well, what you want to hope happens is that this game is played cleanly. I mean, these guys played just 14 days ago. May 20th, over at the Brooklyn Cyclones Stadium in Brooklyn. Of course, with Ranney having the Shore Conference connection there, a little bit closer to the New York metropolitan area. Outside to Rob Roble. Again, one of many sophomores on this Panthers team, a .333 hitter, 1 homer, 6 RBI, 8 for 24. And another strike there from the future Chanticleer, and it's 1-1. .542 slugger for Roble. His 1 home run came in the 4th game he played in versus Middletown North on April 26th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside. Ranney, of course, making their DWB debut tonight. Gloucester Catholic, of course, a very familiar face on the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting cameras in their 22nd appearance. High chopper, third base side. The freshman Mikey Angelo gets it and brings it down. Mastero tags the bag. There's 2 away. Yeah, I think after an inning like that had its highs and lows, Gloucester Catholic's just got to find a little bit of a better way to stay composed. I think that the pitching and the defense has it locked up, but if Ranney keeps hitting the ball into the gap, they definitely can make a serious name. I mean, it was, for crying out loud, it was 4-3 when they played in Brooklyn 2 weeks ago. So this is by no means, if you look at the records online, if you look at the stats on paper, by no means is this game farther away than you think it is. This is a close game, and I think throughout the entire night it's going to be a close game. And I think right now this first inning proves that both teams are dialed in to start. 0-1. Another slider there. Beautiful pitch to Gargulio. And it's 0-2. Cox is the hitter on deck if the inning continues. He's in the 9 slot. Yeah. 0-2. Line, right field. That's down. That could get down towards the corner. It will stay up. It's a base hit for Gargulio, and Ranney will indeed go to the 9 slot with Cox. That is what Ranney needed there. I mean, a 2-out base hit. You don't want to get any kind of confidence shaken from you. And a 1-2-3 inning against a Division I pitcher can shake a lot of people's confidence, as Nate Fuller is going to run it first for the Panthers. Or check that, I think that's Zach Messina, excuse me. There's 2 number 9s listed on our roster online, but either way. It is a runner on first and 2 down. Base hit to right by the catcher, Braden Cox. Now we go back up to the top here. Or, excuse me, by Gargulio. Now the catcher is Cox. So Braden Cox, since we introduced him a little bit prematurely, we'll give him his dues. .375 hitter, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and a 6-for-16 campaign. His home run came in the, oh, hold on here. We're going to have a rundown. Throw down to second is in time. Ranney tried to get a little too much mustard out of that one. They ran it down to second base, but no good, and the inning is over. So the back pick to first is successful, and going to the bottom of the second, we're through an inning and a half here in Camden. 1-0 Panthers. Brody Gates leads us off in the bottom of the second. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. Gloucester Catholic, if they win today, will have two things to celebrate. Not just that they'll advance to play Bishop Eustace on Friday in the South Jersey non-public B final, but Gloucester Catholic also had their commencement today. A graduating class of around 60 to 70 was one of several Catholic high schools to graduate in the last couple of days, including Holy Cross, who had theirs yesterday. But of course, they've got to get through this first. Here comes the 1-0. Big swing and a miss. Gates wanted to send that ball to Northern Philadelphia, and it's 1-1. Gates, Danza, and Pancoast, 5, 6, and 7 for the Rams in the bottom of the second. Bishop Eustace already clinched their spot in the South Jersey non-public B final. They played a day early. They played Doan Academy and beat them 9-3 around this time yesterday. So the 2 seed will be there. And while we covered the Eustace GC final last year, the question is whether it'll be a repeat of last year or whether Ranney, the 4 seed, after beating Holy Spirit in the first round, 11-5, will be enough to get them over the hump. I mean, of course, Gloucester Catholic, all the state championships that they have, really amazing how that's all transpired over the years. But, you know, just watching non-public baseball is such a different animal, such a different beast than watching the public schools. And I like them both for their own different reasons. I think that the non-publics being able to recruit, being able to have a little bit more freedom in what they do, it creates a different style of play. But the crowds are here tonight. You would think that if these schools didn't have Catholic or private next to their name, that these were two small towns competing against each other. You wouldn't think any different of it. You would think maybe this is Tinton Falls versus Gloucester City. But no, these are two private schools that are duking it out in one of the biggest and brightest stages in the South Jersey scene. Gates takes a high chopper to short. Lopez is there, throw across is in time. By the way, the reason why the first base coach was upset for Gloucester Catholic was because of a fake tag, or at least that's what we were told, was the point of issue or the point of concern. But bit of consistency here from J.L. Galena. That's the third ground out to short in an inning and a third today. He's allowed 1 walk, but nothing more. It's 1-0 in the second. Danza, the commit to Virginia, showed bunt, but then pulled back, and it's 1-0. Very good crowd on hand here, though, today. I haven't seen a crowd this packed for a high school game in a long time here. That one gets a bit of distance on it. They're going to let it roll, and very wisely so. It will go foul. And it's 1-1. Looked like the third baseman was going to be in to grab it, but then he pulled back, and can't ask for much more out of that. You know, sometimes the impulses of a baseball player take over, and you want to pick up the baseball and you want to chuck it down to first as hard as you can, but you can't do that in that situation. This turf is not going to be like a regular grass field where you don't know where it's going to roll. With turf, if you use your math a little bit, you can figure out where that ball is going to be because there's no imperfections in there. It's not going to have the same, you know, kind of twists and turns that could or should happen on a grass field. It's popped up and it's 1-2 here. Pancoast on deck for GC. Again, Danza in the 5 slot, one of several Division I commits for the Rams. He's headed to Virginia. Line him to Auburn, lip off to East Carolina, and then the pitcher Smallets to Coastal Carolina. That's a swing and a miss. He got him. They'll tag him out there. Danza, I think, just exchanged a word or two, but it's the second strikeout for J.L. Galena, and there's 2 away for Pancoast here. Here's Pancoast. Henry Pancoast, a 6'2" junior. 286 hitter this season. 10 walks, 10 RBI, 18 for 63 all told. But GC yet to record their first hit of the day. Gets right on top of it. It's fair. Galena, bare hands. Throw to first is wide. Oh, looked to get a Sports Center play and instead ends up picking up an error. It's going to be a two-base snag for Henry Pancoast. As a tough play, Galena went in for it. He tried to go 110% and instead misjudges. And Pancoast will be the runner on second here now for the freshman Mikey Angelo in the 8 slot. Again, you know, I echo the same phrase that every high school baseball coach drills into their players. Hit the ball, put the ball in play, and good things will happen. That's exactly what happened there. We saw it earlier with Ranney. Got the RBI ground out following 2 nicely barreled up base hits. The RBI ground out wasn't the prettiest swing in the world. But in high school baseball, this isn't a travel showcase where having the prettiest swing will get you the most results. Runs get results, wins get results. And in the high school baseball scene, these players understand it. Or at least we hope they do. It's outside to Angelo. Angelo, the only freshman starting today for either side. As Angelo, the third baseman in today's contest, 267 with a 317 slugging, 3 doubles, 16 for 60, and 6 RBIs. He will be followed in the 9 slot by Jude Morgan in right field. Batting in the 9 slot for GC. Again, right now with the conditions changing on this field, with the weather cooling down a little bit, I think this is going to make for a really good game and a really good middle inning stretch that I don't think the first 2 or even 3 innings are going to determine the winner tonight. I think that it's going to be who can bear through the most and who can charge through the most adversity, because these are 2 battle-tested teams. Again, last time they played, it was 4-3 Gloucester Catholic. 4 of the last 5 matchups head-to-head between these 2 have gone in the way of the Rams, the only exception being in 2022. But like I said, these teams played 2 weeks ago. It's hard to escape that. 2 teams that are about an hour and a half away from each other. If you linked them together on a Apple map or something, it's hard to escape that fact. These 2 teams, despite geographically being so far away, seem so close together with their long, long history. The 3-1 from Galena. Angelo got a little bit jammed, but it's out to right field. It's carrying. Oh, and what a catch in right field. He got him. Bringing down the house is Krapufka. And Ranney saves extra bases from the freshman Angelo to end the inning. Ranney holds on to a 1-0 lead after 2, as you got to tip your cap to that one. So I did get corrected. How about that? Angelo flies out from one freshman to another. Krapufka, the rookie, showing off the leather. We'll be right back. Top of the third inning, let's take a look at this beautiful play in right field to retire Mikey Angelo, one freshman to another, as Krapufka brings down an incredible play. Let's take a look. Gets a good hit here by Angelo. I thought he got it a little bit in on the barrel and then just back trailing, puts that glove up over his head, and then right there, takes a hard dive, takes a bit of an awkward dive on the turf here. And for anybody that's played on turf, they know that that can be a little bit harder to take a hard fall from compared to natural grass. So luckily he's okay. And not only that, has the adrenaline to say, I made that catch. Oh, look out. That got the umpire. That drilled him pretty hard behind the dish there, as they're going to let him walk this off. Yeah, he got hit. He got hit pretty hard there. Yeah, they'll take a little bit of time back. Cox is the batter. He was the last man to take an at-bat in the bottom of the second, or rather the top of the second, but Gargulio was out attempting to steal. So that was all null and void, and now he'll get another chance here in the 9th spot. 9-1-2 for the Panthers. Cox, Mauro, and Lopez. Here's the 0-1. Hot shot, third base. Angelo's got it on a hop. Throw across the diamond is perfect, and it's one away. Wind is blowing straight out to right field, right on top of the Cooper building, or Cooper Street building, excuse me. That's always a good gauge. It's always fun when we do Rutgers-Camden games here and the visiting fans don't know whether to face the flag in left field for the national anthem or the flag behind home plate. Always makes for a fun conundrum. Mauro calls time. He's at the top of the card here. He flew out to left his first time. Outside. So right there on top of the Cooper building. Always creates some fun moments, if I say so myself, but outside there, it's going to be 2-0 to Mauro. Ranney leads 1-0. They've got 3 hits. Lopez and Parisi got back-to-back base hits in the top of the first. Kaufman brought him home on a ground out 6-3. And now the Panthers have held on to that lead by holding the Rams scoreless for 2. I mean, J.L. Galena has really impressed me so far. He's got a very good fastball, but I like how his breaking balls are very deceptive. They don't have too much of snap to them, and that's where the hitters get confused because they just can't hit it. It just kind of stays where it is. Grounds it on a fastball low. Throw to first is in time. Got him by a step. Mastero hangs onto it for the second out of the inning. So Ricky Lopez, the shortstop, will be the batter here in the top of the third. He hits with 2 out and nobody on. If you're just joining us, it's 1-0 Ranney in the top of the third inning here from Camden. Here's the pitch. Oh, what a slider that time. Got it to stick. And again, I think that's the difference for Galena and Smalitz here tonight, is that both have very good fastballs, but I think one of the big differences is that Smalitz just seems to have a little bit more of a whip, more of a snap on those breaking balls, and they're really, really working out for him right now. No balls, 2 strikes. As it'll be 9-1-2 for the Rams as well in the bottom of the third, except with a 1-0 deficit. Smalitz ready from the edge of the rubber. The 0-2. Popped up. This one is in the infield. Mastero going over. He's got it, and the inning is over. The left-hander brings it down, and a clean third for the Coastal Carolina commit. Rams will come to back looking to even the score at bat. It's 1-0. pillar of the Ben Franklin Bridge here in Camden, as we've got a 1-0 Ranney lead over Gloucester Catholic. Morgan leads us off, the right fielder, followed by Guy Lynham and Jason Bogart. As, again, 9-1-2 for the Rams as they trail the Ranney Panthers, 1-0. Ranney got an RBI ground out over the middle in the top of the first and nothing more. 2 scoreless frames from J.L. Galena, the right-hander. John Luca Galena, the full, I guess you could say, unabridged version of the sophomore's name, is from the left edge of the rubber. Here's the pitch. It's down to Morgan. Gloucester Catholic still with no hits on the board. They've got a walk and an error, but nothing more. They've put 2 runners in scoring position, 1 in each frame. Didn't get that one the fall. 2-0. Morgan, the junior, again manning right field today. .255 hitter this season. 10 RBI, or check that, 10 hits, 14 RBI, and 55 at bat, 14 for 55. 6 stolen bases for him, .382 slugging. Also with a home run this year, came versus Northern Burlington on the road in a post-cutoff game. A 7-1 win over the Greyhounds. There were a lot of undefeated teams in South Jersey, for those that aren't aware. I mean, we were going into like the second week of May, and almost all of them fell. Governor Livingston, which is a Central Jersey team for sure, was really the only one that has stuck around. Delsey fell. Gloucester Catholic eventually lost their first game to Clearview. I'm trying to think who else was undefeated. Cherokee was undefeated for a little while. They were, I think it was 19-0. And a swing and a miss. Comes back from a 2-0 count and strike out Morgan, the 9-hitter. We turn the card back over to the top. And now the Auburn commit, Guy Lynham, is up. And this is exactly what Ranney needs here. They need a pitcher with confidence. They need somebody who does not take any prior context of this game into account. Doesn't take account of the fact that they lost to GC 2 weeks ago. Doesn't take account of the fact that Galena's got a higher ERA than Smallett's. You know, has more earned runs, more walks, less strikeouts. It doesn't matter. In the playoffs, none of those narratives matter. The narrative is win now, or you're going to have a long bus ride home to Tinton Falls. Over in Monmouth County, the 1-0. This ballpark, Camden Athletic Complex, was built in 2021. It was completed in 2021, ground broke in 2018 on the stadium after the closure of the Camden River Sharks, an Atlantic League independent team. Those up in Monmouth County may know the Somerset Patriots, which are now a Yankees affiliate and play in TD Bank Ballpark, used to be an Atlantic League team. Also can be familiar with the Long Island Ducks up in New York. There's a strike called, and it's 2-2. But this stadium actually, funny enough, the bridge was not a very prominent part of the skyline when Campbell's Field existed from 2000 to 2015. As that will be low. We've got ball 4 here to Lynham. A 1-out walk gives GC a chance to tie this game back up for Jason Bogart, the second baseman, in the 2-hole for GC. But either way, I mean, this, I don't know whose idea it was to make the bridge a key part of the backdrop here, but it's paid off. Everybody wants to play at Rutgers Camden. Every college team, I would argue this venue has actually helped Rutgers Camden, the Division III college, which made the NCAA regionals and lost to Johns Hopkins. I would argue it's helped them get more non-conference games because teams want to play here. JUCO teams play here, youth teams play here, high school teams play here. Over the past 2 years, we've had to have covered at least 10 or 15 games at this very complex. I mean, we've done our fair share at Arm & Hammer Park in Trenton and whatnot, but, I mean, that's a professional stadium. This is the closest you can get to that in this city. Campbell's Field, when it existed, held around 5,500 for capacity. And again, after 15 seasons with the River Sharks, it closed in 2015. They demolished the stadium. And then, you know, they didn't really know what to do with it, and they were going to make a big parking lot for the hotels there's a Hilton Garden Inn out in left field, and there's a couple of businesses, like I think there's a New Jersey American Water building behind us. So they didn't know what to do with it, and they said, well, let's build a community park. So behind us is a big red track, quarter-mile track for track and field athletes. Kip Cooper Academy did their conditioning practice out here today. Antoine Miller posted about it on Instagram, and gonna have a mound visit here. I would imagine this is the pitching coach for Ranney. I have never seen, I mean, not to be frank, I haven't seen a pitching coach wearing plain clothes like that before, but either way, Ranney led by Pat Garoni, 8-4 in the Shore A North Division this season. Their best season in recent memory easily was 2023, 27-3, but falling to Gloucester Catholic in the South Jersey non-public B final. Unless that is Garoni, I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to talk to him pregame. 3-0 count to Bogart as Galena running into a bit of a rough patch here. But 3 balls, no strikes to Bogart. The junior second baseman for the Rams this evening. Here's the 3-0. That will miss. Ball 4. Back-to-back passes for Ranney. And now for the first time tonight, Gloucester Catholic has 2 base runners on. And this is a huge spot for Braden Lipoff here. 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Lipoff, just a junior at 5'11", 165. He's got 4 home runs, and pitchers have been dancing around him as well. He's got 18 walks. .24 RBI. That ball gets away. It's going to skip off the on-deck circle. Both runners will advance. And this is anybody's game now, and now Ranney, their pitching coach, coming out again. I thought if it was a second visit in an inning that he would have had to be taken out, unless they're pulling a, oh wow, okay. Think they're gonna take him out. He's talking to him now. And that's it. Mid at bat. A rare pitching change as JL Galena comes out in the bottom of the third. Very interesting situation there as Ranney pulls their pitcher in the middle of the at-bat versus Braden Lipoff. We'll have a pitching change here at DWB. Gloucester Catholic's dugout is partied up more than ever. We'll be right back. Bottom of the third, 2-all. Zach Messina, the new pitcher for the Panthers. 28 innings, 20 strikeouts. He's got a 3-flat ERA, and, well, I can see why he made the change, why Pat Garrone made the decision to pull J.L. Galena. I don't know if it was a pitch count limit or if it was just discretionary depending on the situation. I mean, obviously, we've got 2 runners in scoring position here, 2 walks, and now a 1-1 count to Braden Lipoff, who, I mean, I get why they did it. In a playoff game like this isn't like a regular season game, as Lipoff launches the ball left center field. It's up, it's back, and it's off the bottom of the wall. 1 run will come in. Racing around third will be Bogart, and Braden Lipoff has a 2-run double, and the Rams have taken the lead off of Messina. It's 2-1. Braden Lipoff laces the ball into the left center field gap. And the first batter that Messina faces swings it for the Rams, and it's 2-1 GC. Now here's Mestero. I mean, right now in this situation, Ranney has just hit their first big bump in the road. Galena was doing all right, but you don't know if he stayed in the face Lipoff if the same result would have happened. In baseball, you can't go off of what ifs. Basketball, maybe. Football, maybe. In baseball, though, this is not a game of what ifs. This is a game of facts and circumstances. Slider misses inside to Mestero, 1-0. Mestero struck out his first time as, man, Gloucester Catholic's dugout sounded a bit like a European soccer crowd out there. They're louder than ever now that Lipoff has given them something to cheer for, as it's 2-0 here. I mean, no matter what, this game's going to be loud. I mean, they set this up perfectly. Perfect venue, perfect time. It's not like they ran it at 2 o'clock today. They chose a primetime game. A lot of people were able to be here for this one, as that one's fouled back by Mestero. Might have clipped his foot. And it's 2-1. Gates on deck for the Rams. Got a 2-1. And the pitch. Got a foul tip there. It's 2-2. Gates on deck for GC, the left fielder. This is a big spot, though. Mestero is one of those guys that, you know, is really one of those set pieces in the GC lineup. Without him, you know, that lineup might not shift the same without him being there, especially as kind of an anchor at first base, really being able to support the club. Is that one, how about this? Gloucester Catholic's dugout up on the top of the rail. How did he get up there? They're living. As the Rams lead it 2-1, Mestero hits it right into his own accord there. Hits it right into his own companionship. And it's still 2-2. Three straight runners have reached for the Rams. A walk to Lynham and Bogart, and then a double, 2-run double out to left center field by Lipoff. Got a 2-2 count here. Here's the pitch. Mestero rips one, right center field. This one is up, this one is back, and it's off the center of the wall. Lipoff racing around third. He's got a chance to come in, and he will. RBI double Jack Mestero. It's 3-1. Jack Mestero picks up where Lipoff left off with an RBI out to the right center gap this time. And it's now 3-1 Gloucester Catholic as they really finding their rhythm here in the bottom of the third. They put up a 3 spot in a combined effort off of Galena and Messina. 2 of the big innings leaders for Ranney. Here's Brody Gates. Gates swings and misses, slider away there. Definitely looks like Messina's got a little bit more zip on that slider, but I think that Ranney as a whole and Pat Garrone definitely will have a much shorter leash on his pitchers. What you got to remember, though, is that there's a very quick turnaround from today to Friday. So if they do beat Gloucester Catholic, oh, hold on here, throw goes into center field. Mostero's going to go to third. He dives in safely. The throw looked like it threaded the needle between the second baseman, Roble, and Mostero. Just really got right through there. And now Mostero's on third base. Here's the pitch, infield in now for Ranney. Line drive, left field base hit. Mostero scores. It's a 4-run inning. As 5 straight have reached, it's 3 straight hits for the Rams. They lead it now 4-1. As they have matched the amount of runs that they scored over in Brooklyn on May the 20th. It's 3 straight RBIs. 2-run double by Lipoff, RBI double by Mostero. Gets to third on an error. And now it will be Noah Danza, the batter. Gates taking a wide stance at first, throws in. And it's 1-0. Fouled back. 1-1 again to Danza. See what they've got in the tank. I mean, the Rams have just put on a clinic here in the bottom of the third. 4 runs across. Again, that wide stance, throw back to first is not in time. A little bit of a diving attempt back at first. Gates working through the motions here as he'll re-enter back at first. Another dive back, not in time. Definitely Messina working overtime to keep that runner at first in check. If it was a 1-0 game still, I think that he wouldn't be too concerned, as that's a third throw over, not in time. Not giving any liberties here to the runner Gates. Misses, 2-1. Gates, the senior, again the runner at first for Gloucester Catholic. Has a little bit of speed, but time is called at the dish. Again, though, I think that part of that barrage to first base is attributed to that. Ground ball, third base. Throw to second for 1, on to first. A little bit of an underhand throw. He got him. Double play. Ranney goes around the horn and they stop the bleeding. 4 runs come across, and Brody Gates is out at second. Noah Danza out at first, and Ranney can breathe a little bit, but they've got some work to do with the bats. It's 4-1 after 3.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
First pitch of the fourth is grounded. It's booted at short. He rebounds. The throw to first gets away from Estero. A lot going on in one play, but a bit of a circus act there at short gives Gloucester Catholic their first error in the field as Parisi gets on. I mean, for what it's worth, he gave it a shot, just couldn't get everything going there, and I think once he bobbled the ball to throw to first wasn't going to be all that well composed. And then he ended up throwing it under Mastero there and allowing Parisi to get on. But we've got Kaufman, the batter. He drove in the game's first run and the only run for Ranney. As look out, that one hit the post, holding up the foul netting, and it went back into the field of play. But it's 0-1 to Kaufman with Parisi on first. But again, at this point in time, Ranney is a little bit in deep here. It's only a 3-run game, but you got to remember, again, they lost 4-3 the last time they played in the regular season. And against Smallets, getting runs is going to be hard to come by. There's a ground ball to third. Angelo, they were going to try to turn two, but they ran a little bit behind schedule, and Parisi's retired for the first out. It'll be a 5-4 fielder's choice. And now here is Fuller, the DH. So 1 on, 1 out. As Gloucester Catholic looks to continue to settle in here with Smallets, the Coastal Carolina commit, on the hill. Right down the pipe, 0-1. That strike zone does seem to be a tiny bit on the larger side today. Which for a game like this, obviously, you know, with both pitchers being very good, Messina and Galena for Ranney being very good arms, and then Smallets for the Rams, having a larger strike zone is definitely going to be a disadvantage to the hitter as he almost took out Smallets. Base hit back up the middle. Picked up in center by Pancoast. And it is a 1-out base hit for Ranney. It's their 4th knock of the day as Fuller rings one through the middle. Now you've got 2 on. What did I say? I mean, listen, you don't count out Ranney. They are a team. First of all, you don't count out Ranney because they're a good team. Second of all, you don't count out Ranney because everybody else in the non-public bracket has had an insane last couple of hours. South Jersey non-public A. How about St. Augustine and RBC? RBC won that game 9-8 over St. Augustine. After at one point St. Augustine led it 8-2. It was a 7-run comeback in the bottom of the 7th inning. And then, first of all 4 winners in the non-public A were trailing at some point. Don Bosco was trailing 6-1. They won it 8-6. DePaul Catholic trailed 6-1. They won it 12-10. RBC was down 8-2. They won it 9-8. And then Christian Brothers Academy, they were down 1-0, and then they won it 6-3. So the team that's losing today may just have the fortune in their favor by the baseball gods of New Jersey. I mean, it is incredible how wild the last couple of hours have been following these non-public bracket games, which swings us right into our sectional finals in the public bracket tomorrow. Here's the first pitch. Ground ball. Out to third. Angelo dove for it. The throw across the diamond. He slides. It gets away. Hits the netting. Runner comes in. Limping into third base is Fuller. It'll be an RBI. Not sure if that'll be an RBI or if it'll be an error, but either way, the Gloucester Catholic defense provides a hiccup for Ranney and lets the door back open. As now Krapufka sets it up for Roble. I mean, that was just right place, right time right there. Angelo, I think, making that freshman mistake of trying to dive and take the limelight there. And then Danza coming in a little bit late. The throw was set up good. He corked a lot of power into it, but he just couldn't finish at the end of the day. And Ranney's now cut the lead at 4-2. Krapufka now on first. Fuller advances to third. Now there's another That ball had some trouble getting corralled in. Yeah, if you're Gloucester Catholic, you cannot afford to have a couple of bad batters like this. I'm not even talking about a bad inning, a bad batter. Because in this situation, if you scored 4 runs in the bottom of the third, you don't want to let all of that hard work go to waste. Batter in the on-deck circle is Gargulio. Got a strike there. 0-1, a pickoff attempt before the first pitch. Again, caused a little bit of a scurry, but nothing there. Roble grounded out to third his first time. Even though there's 1 out in the inning, all 4 batters for Ranney have reached base. E6 by Parisi, fielder's choice by Kaufman. Now a bunt. He reached very far. They're going to say no. They're going to say he didn't go that time. And it's 1-1. So a bit of a break there for Ranney. But as we said, a single by Fuller and an E6 that brought home a run for Krapufka, the freshman, again, who took away extra bases from Mikey Angelo in a prior inning with a spectacular play in right field. There's a 1-1. That time it's a strike. That one looked like that caught the upper and in corner there, so I think nothing to complain about in that regard. And now they're going to have a meeting with, again, Ranney's head coach, Gironi, the base runner, and the batter. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. You can visit today 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. So as Roble makes his way back to the box here with the sunset over the Delaware River, that's what makes this ballpark so beautiful. These summer league games and these, I mean, listen, this ballpark is beautiful now. Just think about when we do our Rutgers-Camden non-conference schedule. Our game this year versus Immaculata was on February 22nd. The real feel that day was 17 degrees. It's a lot better in the summertime, I'll tell you that. Here's the 1-2 to Roble from Smollett. Swing and a miss, he got him. That is Smollett's second strikeout of the night. And now a huge situation here for the Panthers as Fuller is on third. And now the batter will be Gargulio, who singled in the second inning. He was out attempting to steal second, and that ended the frame. But the Ranney Panthers already have a run back in their pockets here with a 4-2 game. Chance to cut the lead even more. Misses at the knees. 1-0. Gloucester Catholic's Dennis Barth, over in the dugout on the first base side, recently compiled his 600th career win. One of 6 coaches in South Jersey history to complete the mark. He joins Sam Tropiano, who spent time at St. Augustine and currently is in a long tenure at Bishop Eustace. And then Lee Ware out of Woodstown, Rich Bender out of Delran, Rich Horan of Audubon. Runner goes. That one is a strike called. The throw goes into center field. Ranney's going to get a run back. Man, Fuller was limping to the plate. He will score. It's now 4-3 as Ranney is taking advantage of a splintered Gloucester Catholic defense, who, even if the errors don't appear in the scorecard tonight, it will still count when the runs come around to score. I mean, listen, 2 runs for Ranney. Fuller and Kaufman have both scored. And now a precarious situation for the Rams. They now lead it by 1 after a powerful bottom of the third. Here's the pitch from Smollett. The 1-2. He did not get him. Now the delayed throw to third. There is no throw, and it's 2-2. In the blink of an eye, Ranney is now 90 feet away from tying the game. This game has been an oddball tonight, and Camden usually makes oddball baseball games. Nothing is for certain here under the lights of the Ben Franklin Bridge. Here's the 2-2. Smollett's ready to go. Delivers. Got him. Got the strikeout to go to end the frame, but Ranney brings home 2 runs on an RBI off the bat of Krapufka and then another run coming in on a throwing error. It's 4-3 going to the bottom of the fourth here in Camden County. Here in Camden, underneath the lights of the Ben Franklin Bridge, it's Ranney 3, Gloucester Catholic 4. This broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey Roadrunners. Winners on the field and winners in the classroom. Join me and the Roadrunners by becoming a prospective athlete of RCSJ by filling out their prospective athlete form at rcroadrunners.com. You can also follow them on social media platforms at RC Roadrunners. Also, if you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com with an advertising inquiry. We'll send you a flyer with information on how to get involved in front of South Jersey's fastest growing independent broadcasting business with over 100,000 viewers on YouTube annually and over 6,000 combined followers on social media. Get your business in the advertising game with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. At the letters just below it, actually, and it's 3-2 from Messina to Pancoast. It's Pancoast, Angelo, and Morgan. That one is ripped foul. And also, even if you're not a small business owner, for a little disclaimer, we don't get paid often for our high school games. So if you'd like to contribute to travel costs, college expenses, or equipment expenses, that ball's hit out to left field. It'll stay up, and it got down. How about that? Looked like it was an easy play, but it just got beyond the reach of Ranney's left fielder, and it's a double for Henry Pancoast as the Rams look to extend the lead here in the bottom of the fourth inning. As we said, though, if you're interested in making a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Of course, not required by any means, but listen, I'm a 19-year-old college freshman at Rowan College of South Jersey. We do this for the love of the game and to promote our hopefully our future careers in sports media and sports broadcasting. So it is always appreciated. Ranney is making a defensive substitution here. So they are bringing in their original center fielder, Kaufman, and it looks like now. Actually, this is a precursor to Gironi coming out and maybe making another change here. So it looked like, as I was catching it, that number 9 was coming out. Now remember, in high school, the substitution rule is 1 substitution per game. So we're going to have to decipher what has all gone down here. And now, again, Garoni is going to talk with the home plate umpire and get those substitutions in order. With Messina staying in the game, I would assume that this is just defensive for now, although it does look like they're getting him out there to warm up. So again, as we said, there's the right-hander warming up in the pen for Ranney, number 16. So Kaufman is going to come in, or at least he is warming up. Look at this. First baseman was all the way out there. Oh, the ball got dropped, and the runner is safe. Ball got bobbled around. Garoni's coming out, trying to get an explanation there. First baseman had some trouble with it. This is giving me flashbacks to Pingree and PVI last year. A game with a lot of close plays and a lot of disagreement. But the bunt is successful. It moves the runners over. So Pancoast had a double to left. He now moves to third on the bunt single by Mikey Angelo. And now Jude Morgan is the batter, the right fielder. Here's the first pitch. Strike called. So it's the 9 slot for Gloucester Catholic. Again, Lynham, the designated hitter, would be next. And now, big spot for GC to extend the lead after a rough top of the 4th. They gave up 2 runs to the Panthers to cut the lead down to 1. Throw back to first is high. So now a little mound visit going down here with their folks as Morgan again stepping in. Everybody in the infield talking it over. Again, I think the situation for Ranney here is can't get too confused with the situation, as this one is going to be a mound visit. Just going to pull Messina here. I mean, this is his 2nd visit. And they will take Messina out of the game. For the 2nd time today, Ranney has done the unconventional and has done a mid-at-bat pitching change. Justin Kaufman, who briefly came out of center field to warm up, now gets the ball. He's the 3rd Panther to get the ball today for the visitors as they trail it 4-3. But a big spot here as Ranney wants to get it right. We'll be right back. We're under the lights here in Camden. If you're just joining us, it's a beautiful night for baseball. Just about 76, 77 degrees today. Justin Kaufman, the sophomore right-hander, comes in as Ranney's third pitcher. 2.57 ERA, 18 walks, 33 strikeouts, and 11 earned runs. A big note is that he's got 13 unearned runs for a total of 24 total. But he's got a 3.25 career ERA after posting a 4.04 mark during the 2024 freshman campaign. But again, this Ranney team, very young, but also they've been playing better than ever. I mean, J.L. Galena, Rob Roble, Nate Fuller, Justin Kaufman, and Brody Morrow, all players who have made notable contributions in this game. They're all sophomores. Not to mention Krapufka. Again, a freshman here, but... And then Kaufman, of course, as we said, got a lot of varsity time even last year as a freshman, as, again, Garoni said there was a change in left field. They're going to actually have another change made. Fuller is moving from DH to left field, and it looks like, well, the left fielder originally was Cox. I think they might have made another change, but after what seems like a long time without baseball, we're back at it. Bottom of the fourth inning. It's an 0-1 count to Morgan after a double by Pancoast and a single by the freshman Mikey Angelo. Gets a slider. He chases at the dirt. And it's 0-2 quickly here. It's going to be very important that Gloucester Catholic does not rush this inning. No reason for them to rush right now. They've got something good going. 4-3 lead, even though it was 4-1 at one point. That ball's lined by the 9-hitter, left field. It's playable and left for Fuller. Runner's coming home, and it's a sacrifice fly for the Rams. Runner's going down to second now. The throw is not in time. So a little bit of everything going on that play. The Rams now lead it 5-3. On a sacrifice fly out to straightaway left for the former designated hitter, Fuller. So again, a little bit of everything happening there. Sacrifice fly to left. Pancoast scored. Angelo moved up to second. And we are back at the top of the lineup card for Lynham. Here's the pitch. Inside, it's going to skip away, and the runner's going to get down to third, and I think it actually hit Lynham. So Lynham will get plunked there on a slider running in, and he might be hurt a little bit more than we thought. Again, one of the several assistants for GC helping him out get down to first base. Don't want to take any chances here in a semifinal playoff game. I think what makes Gloucester Catholic good is somebody who works down here in South Jersey and knows a lot of these teams, is that Gloucester Catholic is one of the most cohesive teams in South Jersey. If one domino falls, they don't seem to operate the same way. We've got two runners on, two-run game in favor of the Rams. It's 5-3, and Kaufman, the sophomore, steps off. Again, that Gloucester Catholic dugout not letting up by any means. Dennis Barth delivering a little instruction there to Bogart after the hit by pitch to Lynham. 2 on, 1 out, 2-run game. Kaufman from the edge of the rubber. Got a slider in there. All three pitchers for the Panthers tonight, Galena, Kaufman, and then, of course, before him, Messina, all of them have had really good breaking balls. And Gloucester Catholic just seems to be able to figure that out right now. But just looking at it from an observer standpoint, all three of them really seem to excel with the slider. That's a line drive, and it's on the fastball, right field. That's going to get down. Krapufka's there. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's cut off at second. They're going to try to back pick to first. There's nobody home. RBI single off the bat of Bogart, the second baseman. He lines one in the right. And it's now 6-3. What a game this has been. Lynham advances to third. Angelo scored on the RBI single by Bogart. He's now 1 for 2, and now here's Lipoff. He opened up the scoring for the Rams with a 2-run double out to the left center gap. Here's the pitch. Got behind it there, and it's fouled off. Here's the pitch. Kaufman ready to go. Catcher set up. Runner holds, and it's high. Again, I say this very cautiously. This seems like potential of a repeat from the Pingree PVI game from last year, if any of you remember how wild that game was. We're an hour and a half into this, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Almost like Sayreville-Matawan from earlier this year. Another game involving a short conference team. That was our longest game of the season at 3 hours and 8 minutes. Here's the 2-1 from Kaufman. That ball's popped up. It's got a little bit of height on it. This one is up there. He's actually hit this one pretty well, and it's out to the 378 sign in center. It's caught. Lynham limping home, and it's a sacrifice fly that makes it now 7-3. 4-run lead for the for the Rams. And now Mastero will be the batter. In the cleanup spot for Gloucester Catholic. Second sac fly of the inning. I was actually surprised at how far that ball had carried by Lipoff. Runner goes. Throw down to second is in time. He got him. Inning over. Ranney gives up 3 more as the Rams get 2 runs home on 2 separate sacrifice flies, and then an RBI single by the second baseman, Jason Bogart. The Panthers have shown that they can swing the bat, but let's see how far they can swing the bat. They trail by 4 after 4.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home. View pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Top of the 5th inning, first pitch is grounded to third. Angelo is there. Throw across the diamond is in time, and there's one away. Let's introduce today's DWB Trivia Time. We did it 1 inning later than usual today, but with 1 out in the top of the 5th, let's waste no time. Today's question is, in which year did the Philadelphia Phillies win 102 games, the most in franchise history? Is it A, 2011, B, 2008, C, 1993, or D, 1983? In all four of those years, the Phillies made, or at least had a deep run in the playoffs. The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fifth inning. I'm so used to doing it in the fourth that doing it in the fifth kind of threw me off my rocker there, but it is 7-3. Gloucester Catholic over Ranney. They put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the fourth. 2 sacrifice flies extended the lead. And it's 0-2 here. 7 batters came up for GC. It's Cox, Mauro, or no, excuse me. Looks like Mauro, Lopez, and then Parisi. Yes, excuse me, this is Mauro batting. Because Cox grounded out to short, that's correct. I was looking at my scorecard just with a giant question mark, but we figured it out. Smollett still working strong, missed low there. Looked like it was low. I think that was the right call. Again, sometimes with 2 strikes, that zone seems to shift a little bit. Lipoff setting up on one knee. He delivers, and it's outside. 3-2. Again, it was close, but I think that was the right call. When I'm in the outfield for games, I don't sit here and talk about balls and strikes because that's not my job. Even if I'm behind home plate, it's not my job. But that ball's hit out towards center field. Got a little bit jammed. The wind won't help him this time. It's a fly out to center field. It's 2 away. Again, taken in by Pancoast out there. He's had a couple of plays. So Mauro flies out to center field. It's 2 away. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 5th. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Pro Wrestling, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. You can visit online today for future events and information on said events and ticketing at dawgprowrestling.com. Lopez 1 for 2, singled back up the middle in the first and scored the game's first run. 7-3 here in the top of the 5th. That's a swing and a miss. And it's now 0-2. Mastero will bat again in the bottom half of the 5th. It'll be Mastero, Gates, and Danza, 4, 5, and 6. Smack dab in the middle of the order for GC. In the bottom of the 5th with the Panthers 3 and the Rams 7. Here's the 0-2. Had to duck down that time. Tread a little bit inside, and it's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Smallets with 4 strikeouts to his name this evening here in Camden. There's a swing and a miss. He got him. Side retired. He strikes out Lopez, and the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for the Panthers. And they've got some work to do. GC will look to extend the lead with their bats, 7-3. Bottom of the fifth inning, it's time to reveal the answer on today's DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, in which year did the Philadelphia Phillies win 102 games, a franchise record? Was it A, 2011, B, 2008, C, 1993, or D, 1983? The answer is A, 2011. In 2008, they only won 89 games and won the World Series. 1993 and 83, they were up there in a ground ball to first. And Mostero's retired, 3 unassisted to start the bottom of the fifth. It's a beautiful night here in Camden. Always a pleasure to be here at Camden Athletic Complex. We weren't sure where this game was going to be up until a couple of days ago in our communications with the Gloucester Catholic coaching staff, and then they settled on this. Again, in part because of Gloucester Catholic's commencement, their graduation being earlier this afternoon. There's another grounder. Fair ball diving, or sliding stop rather. Throw to first is in time. He got him. Back-to-back good plays here by Ranney to hold GC at bay at the moment. And there's 2 away. This will bring up Danza. So bottom of the fifth inning with the Cooper Street building all lit up for the month of June. And the first pitch. Strike called. Danza 0 for 2. Strikeout in a 5-4-3 double play in his last at-bat. There's a hot shot over the middle. That's a base hit. Almost took out somebody. It's a single for Danza. He'll scurry back to first. And he gets in there safely. Goes back to Pancoast after Danza lines a base hit. Pancoast has reached base twice, had an E1 in his first AB and then doubled and came around to score as a part of the 3-run fourth. 7 batters came up for Gloucester Catholic in the third, 6 came up in the fourth. So needless to say, Ranney's work has been cut out for them, but still got 6 outs on the board here. I mean, listen, if GC can score 4 runs in an inning, that opportunity is equally presented to Ranney. Here comes the throw down. That's a one-hop. It's going to bounce really well off the turf, and he got him. Inning over. Ranney has had those heroics plenty of times tonight, and they get another one. You don't get that out on a grass field, but here on the Camden turf, that ball skips like a rock on a pretty lake. The first base coach is coming out. He's going to try to mediate something. I thought he was trying to argue the call. However, seems like we end up with a calm end to the inning. We go to the top of the 6th, 7-3.
Two minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving graveyard! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mostero pulls up. He goes to 3. 6 points. Jack Mostero has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss of
5 innings down and, well, a minimum of 2 to go. I wouldn't count out Ranney, though. As we said, all 4 non-public A games ended with, or first of all, I should say the 2 games in non-public A, North and South, that all were played today, ended with whoever was the first to score losing. I mean, that was all capped off by a Red Bank Catholic comeback where they scored 7 runs in the 7th to win it on a throwing error by a score of 9-8. St. Augustine led them 8-2 into the penultimate frame. And then the Caseys took home the win. Now, of course, non-public B was a little bit different, although that was also true. Doan scored 2 runs in the top of the 2nd of their semifinal game yesterday, but a Max Sullivan grand slam was the difference maker. That one's a line drive. Angelo gets a pick. Throw to first is in time. I'll tell you, those ground balls are probably a lot easier for these GC players. It's one away in the top of the 6th as that'll be a ground out for Parisi. Batter is Kaufman, but a lot of notable games have been played here in the past year. The Philadelphia Catholic League played their final here with Monsignor Bonner winning the championship. We talked to our good friends over at Delco Baseball Now, and a very good source for stuff happening in Delaware County and Philadelphia. They have excellent reporting and journalism, but either way, they played the PCL final here. I wouldn't be opposed to Carpenter Cup games being played here. Obviously not the final. You save that for Citizens Bank Park, but just thinking about it from an objective standpoint, I mean, they play, I believe, there's 2 different fields that are the host of Carpenter Cup games, and well, guess what? Carpenter Cup teams have already been decided. They're actually going to be starting next week, so a team that's going to the state final or a state semifinal probably will have to pull their players from the team, because it's not like you can just sub them back in as the tournament starts. He got them right in the backside. Kaufman gets hit. He'll get down to first, and he'll be okay. So Kaufman, who drove in the first run for Ranney, he now gets on. Batter is Fuller, the DH. Or he was the DH at least until some pitching changes were made. As Smalich will get ready. Looking to settle in here in a 4-run game. Runner on first after the hit by pitch. Swing and a miss. Got a good fastball that time, 0-1. Fuller had a base hit in the 4th as a part of the 2-run frame by the Panthers. Here's the pitch. Line drive, left field foul. Look out below. Look out in the river. I like to call this game the game of commonality, the game of common names. The Panthers and the Rams in the state of New Jersey are the 2 most common names for high school sports teams. 17 schools are named the Panthers, 14 are named the Rams. Gloucester Catholic and Pittman would also apply. Salem and Camden. A lot of different teams and combinations would go about it. But the Rams wearing their new jerseys, all maroon with gold lettering and gold belts. Smalich ready to go with a runner on and Kaufman. Here's the pitch. Line drive. This one is caught. They might double him off. Throw to first is in time. Double play. Bogart caught the runner, and he threw him out at first. It's a 4-3 double play on the line drive. The inning is over, and Ranney just saw 2 very valuable outs disappear as Fuller lines out into a 2-fer, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Could be the last swings for the Rams if they can hang on defensively. They lead it by 4 runs, 7-3. Bottom of the 6th inning, Gloucester Catholic leads Ranney 7-3. 3 pitchers for the Panthers. Only one, Jackson Smallets for the Rams. Or check that, for the Panthers. No, I was right the first time. Jackson Smallets for the Rams. I get a lot of things confused this time of night. It's been a long game. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the batter is Pancoast. 7, 8, 9 for the Rams. Pancoast, Angelo, and Morgan. Rams looking for their first offensive input since the 4th. They put up 4 runs in the 3rd, 3 in the bottom of the 4th. And quickly, the 0-2 outside. Again, we started out with J.L. Galena, who went 2 1/3 innings. And then flipped the card over to Nate Messina. And then flipped it back over to Kaufman, who started the game in center field in the cleanup spot. And we've now got a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Just got a piece of it. I think it hit the catcher. He'll fire it back to Kaufman. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow, a little bit closer to home, with the Shalla Cougars in the Audubon Green Wave at 4 o'clock in the South Jersey Group 1 Final. For the 3rd year in a row, we've picked up the South Jersey Group 1 Final. Buna and Audubon in 2023, Woodstown and Gloucester in 2024, and then Shallock and Audubon in 2025. On Friday, we're not sure. It depends on who wins today's game. If Ranney wins, they will play Eustis on Friday at we don't know what time. And then if Gloucester Catholic wins, they will play Bishop Eustis at Brooklawn on Friday, June 6th. That will be that should be our last of the year, because South Jersey programs are should be the central team that's hosting the state semifinal this year. Last year was the South, so we got to see Point Pleasant Beach. And there's a swing and a miss. He got him. Pancoast down on strikes for the first out of the bottom of the 6th. If you're just joining us, it's been a good game. Ranney got the first run on a ground out to short off the bat of Kaufman, your current pitcher. And then Gloucester Catholic responded with a 4-run 3rd. A 2-run double by Braden Lipoff, an RBI double by Jack Mastero, and then an RBI single by Gates. Here's the pitch. Strike called. Ooh, pitcher slipped on the mound there at the end of the pitch. What I will say, one of the things that may be playing an advantage to Smallets is that if you look at the Gloucester Catholic field, that mound is almost a flat ground mound. And honestly, this mound being a little bit higher, it's pretty standard if you ask me, but that mound being at the height that it is could actually be helping Smallets' velocity. I remember we saw, or first of all, here's the 0-2. The ground ball. It's out to short on a high chop. Lopez, high throw, hits the glove. It's off of the railing. Gloucester Catholic's got a 1-out base runner with the freshman Angelo, and now Jude Morgan will be the batter. Very, very intense crowd on hand here tonight. You can see all up and down the first base line. Like I said, we got here at 5:45. An hour and 15 minutes before first pitch, and fans were still filing in. In fact, we got here and both teams were locked out of the complex. I should say we got here around 5:30, and I see Ranney, their bus had just unloaded, and Gloucester Catholic had been here, but both teams are sitting on the steps of the complex because nobody had the key to get in. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Morgan straight up in the infield to first base. It's caught. 2 down. Ranney in the top of the 7th inning will bat Krapofka, Roble, and Gargulio. The Rams looking for some insurance runs. Ranney looking for a shutdown frame. At the end of the ball game, stay tuned for the DWB postgame show presented by our good friends over at DAWG Pro Wrestling. Kaufman ready to work here. He steps behind. Again, with the mound being as high as it is compared to Gloucester Catholic. I haven't been to Ranney's field. I don't know how high the mound is there, but you know, I see some games where pitchers are just completely different when they're not playing on their home mound, specifically for GC. Bunt pulled back by Lonham, and it's 1-0. Prime example was our first game for Gloucester Catholic this season, or our first game featuring the Rams this year at Kingsway back on April 2nd. That mound at Kingsway, the best I can do visually is just say about 25% more, 25% higher than the Camden mound. That one's going to drop in left. Oh, and it got past the left fielder. That's going to be trouble. Here comes the runner coming around third. He'll come in to score. It's a double and a misjudgment on a hop. On a grass field, he would have played it perfectly, but on the turf, that ball's got some jumping beans in him. That will be an RBI double for Guy Lynham. And it is now 8-3 Gloucester Catholic, with Joe Barth Field waiting for them to enter on Friday afternoon if they can get the top 3 outs in the 7th. Again, scoring that time was Angelo from first. Again, I think if that's on a grass field, left fielder Fuller plays that perfectly. Not even a comment about it. But because it's on the turf field, I think he misjudged it, played a little bit too far in, played actually too close to the baseball. I like to say on this turf field specifically, you have to play with a little bit of a force field around you, because in this situation, that ball will bounce higher, especially on a warmer night like this. The turf is loose, it will bounce. We saw that with a play involving Mikey Angelo earlier, where he had a high chop to third, but he was used to it. Gloucester Catholic actually came here yesterday and practiced on this field to get ready for the game. PVI did the same the other day, or I should say earlier last week. They've had some practice time on this field. I don't know of a lot of turf fields in the Jersey Shore area. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the Shore Conference. We've covered a handful of teams a handful of times, but I don't know what their situation's like. So a turf field like this, it can cause some players to make mistakes if they're not prepared for the change of what's beneath their feet. Bogart reached on the bunt, and it's 2-1. Gloucester Catholic leads at 8-3. GC, the 1 seed in the South Jersey non-public B bracket, would improve to 22-3 with a win. Ranney's season, if they do not surmount a comeback in the 7th, would fall to 12-9 after a 15-8 campaign in 2024 under Pat Garoni. Kaufman steps off. Ranney this season started out the year 0-2 with a loss to CBA, but then went on a big run, including a 7-game winning streak and a 9 out of 10 win streak from April 8th versus Middletown North to April 28th versus Manalapan. They then lost to CBA a 3rd time in the Monmouth County semis, and then lost to RBC in the Shore Conference quarterfinals. And again, in the playoffs, they beat Holy Spirit 11-5 to advance to where they are today. 3-1 to Bogart. He's 1 for 2 today with a walk, ground out, and a single. They will say, they're going to call it a strike. There was a little bit of confusion there. Bogart started to walk down to first, and they do say that Bogart went around. I think if it's a closer game, that call gets a little bit more of a reaction. But it's a 3-2 count, 2 away, bottom of the 6th. Runner on second for the Rams, and a delivery. Ground ball, third base, straight away. They look to third for a tag. Now that throw gets away. Oh, he tripped up down the first base line. Runner scores. Getting into second is Bogart. It's now 9-3. Bogart is down. He gets up, but I think he fell on his arm or something like that. They do score Lynham, and now Garone is coming out because Bogart fell. I don't know what it was. he looked like as he was turning for first base, had a wide turn once he realized the throw had gotten away. And then in addition to that, he also fell. So the wide turn, a sharp turn, caused him to blow a tire. But Ranney, the thorn in their side today has been the defense. I mean, their pitching has done well. GC has barreled up the ball, but not as much as you might think if you looked at the stats of this game on paper. But I really think the turf has not benefited Ranney very well here. I mean, a run scored because of a miscue in left field by the Panthers and by Fuller. Line drive, oh, it hit off his glove. It hits off the second baseman's glove. It goes into center field. Kaufman is down. He gets back up. The runner comes in to score. That ball played charades. That ball played hacky sack off of everybody. It hit off the pitcher. It hit off the second baseman. And it tripped into center field. Bogart came in to score. It's an RBI single for Lipoff. He's got 3 RBIs today, and they will now pull Kaufman from the game. They will now bring in number 11, who is not on our roster, but will make a confirmation of it as soon as possible. Kaufman's day is done. He gets a nice ovation from the Ranney faithful, as with the sun having set here in Camden, Ranney will do their best to make sure that their sun doesn't set here in the 2025 season. They trail it 10-3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning, Ranney brings in their 4th pitcher to face Jack Mastero. It's Noah Hines, junior right-hander in 3 innings of varsity work. He's got a career 8.78 ERA, 18 1/3 innings. He's only appeared in 4 games this season, and all of them in short conference appearances. One versus CBA. His longest appearance was in an 18-3 loss to RBC on April 14th, where he threw 2 innings and allowed 3 runs. This season he's got 10 walks, 2 Ks. The heaviest of his workloads was his 2024 sophomore season. 14 1/3 innings pitched, and he walked 23, struck out 19. But again, with a 7-run deficit, Pat Garrone looking to find any stopgap that he can. He's got 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and then he'll have a 7-run comeback to formulate in the top of the 7th. Batter is Jack Mastero. There's a runner on first for the Rams. They've scored 3 runs this inning. That one's fouled straight back. And it's 1-1. Mastero has an RBI on the day. An RBI double as a part of the 4-run third. Again, Gloucester Catholic with a 7-run lead. It's big, but it's not safe by any means, considering how the rest of the non-public games in both brackets have gone today. That's a ground ball in the right field. It's a base hit. First baseman dove for it, couldn't find it. Mostero taking a wide turn around. Dennis Barth with the green light around. Mostero's on his horse. He's going to third. Runner scores. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. It's an RBI triple for Jack Mostero. He was on his wheels getting there, and he's got an RBI to make it 11-3. 8-run game. As for the second time today, Gloucester Catholic has put up a 4 spot on their opponents from Monmouth County. Now here is Brody Gates. He had an RBI single to cap off the 4-run inning in the third. Otherwise, he's 1 for 3, 2 ground outs to his name. Looking at Brody Gates, he's got, I thought I was seeing something earlier. He's got low-top socks on his cleats. He's got low tops. Those are like the socks that I wear for, Saturday morning cartoons and stuff like that. I've seen a fair share of interesting equipment choices when we switched to the turf. It was a time last year when Sterling was playing Gloucester. As that one skips away, Mostero's going to come home. It's going to be a wild pitch. Or passed ball, check that. It's now a 9-run game. It's now 12-3 with Mostero coming around. But Sterling and Gloucester were playing in the Camden County tournament here back in April of last year. And one of the rules, if you're a player or a coach who has ever been here, one of the rules is that you cannot wear metal spikes for for Rutgers Camden games, and you can't wear them anytime you're on the field because it's all turf. Now, there was a pitcher, I believe it was Evan Miller for Sterling, and he didn't have those. So he was waiting for his parent to go to their car, grab plastic cleats or grab rubber cleats, and bring them onto the field. So in the middle of the at-bat, Todd Kozaneski of Sterling comes running out of the dugout with shoes in hand, and he just changed shoes in the middle of the at-bat, and then he struck out the next 2 batters. The 3-2 with 2 outs. This one's headed to Delaware Ave. We haven't had too many go out onto the street today, less than usual, which I'm sure is a delight for umpires because we don't have to send people chasing the baseballs. But it was one time we did a doubleheader between Immaculata and Rutgers Camden last year, and I remember going meticulously through the footage because there were several delays, as this will be a walk to Gates. This will be the 9th batter of the inning in Danza. There were several delays during the game because the umpires had to wait for people to bring more baseballs back. As soon as they brought them back, what did the batters do? Send them out onto the street. It was a game where there was only one lefty combined in the lineup, so all of the righties were late. They kept swinging foul, foul, foul. We went through the footage. There were over 100 foul balls hit either onto Delaware Avenue or in that vicinity during the doubleheader. Whoa, look out. Danza has to dance around to avoid that one. Almost inadvertently quoting the Elton John song from 1970. Here's the 1-0. Big lead off of first by Gates. With Pancoast on deck, Gloucester Catholic will have batted around with 9 batters. Throw back to first is going to be away. Here goes the runner down to second. He will hold there, and he'll get in there safely. (12-3) Gloucester Catholic, and right now we're actually in a situation where if another run scores, this game would end with a mercy rule. I did not think that was even a possibility going into this inning, but Gloucester Catholic has put on a clinic as they have scored 5 runs in the 6th. They forced a Ranney pitching change, again bringing in Hines. And for what it's worth, all Gates has to do is score from second in any means possible, and this game would be over. (12-3) GC, 2-0. That one is way high. It sails them. And now that winning run, again, I can't believe I'm saying that because I didn't think it was possible a couple of minutes ago, but Ranney has the chance to shut it down, and Gloucester Catholic has the chance to shut it down in a different way. Again, Bishop Eustace has already clinched their position in the final for Friday. Ranney being the 4 seed, it's a walk to Danza, and Pancoast is the batter. Number 10 this inning for Gloucester Catholic. I mean, this game really feels like it hit a bump in the road because, I mean, for what it's worth, Ranney is a very good team. I think that they'll be back here in 2025 in some capacity. They've got a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and a lot of potential. They've been seeing the ball really well. But Gloucester Catholic really, I think they put a nail in it by throwing Jackson Smallets out there to Coastal Carolina commit as there's a ground ball. Third base side, throw to first is in time. And by the skin of their teeth, Ranney will bat in the 7th inning without interruption. They've got a lot of work to do, but in baseball, the motto is this: never say never. It's Gloucester Catholic 12, Ranney 3, going to the top of the 7th. Top of the 7th inning. Last chances for Ranney. As Jackson Smallets, again, the Coastal Carolina commit, is ready to go. Looking for a complete game. He gave up the first run of the game, in fact. An RBI ground out off the bat of Justin Kaufman got the offense started. And in fact, even after a 4-run frame in the bottom of the 3rd, the Panthers returned the favor with 2 in the top of the 5th. But that's where the offense stopped. A 5-run inning with 10 batters making their way to the plate for Gloucester Catholic broke this game open, and now the reaction of the crowd is a lot less excited. But I think that this is just a step in the road for Ranney. As there's a line drive, he will get it off of Smallets. That's a base hit. So the path for Ranney, they're going to keep pushing that door open as much as they can in a 9-run game, but listen, if Red Bank Catholic can score 7 in the 7th inning to win it, Ranney could score 9. They would actually need 10 to get a 13-12 lead. But Chakafra gets the base hit, sets up Roble now, the 7-hitter. It's Roble and then Gargulio for the Panthers in the top of the 7th. Smallets delivers. Got the fastball there. His fastball velocity has been very consistent throughout this game. And I think that's what's been his biggest success, the fact that he's throwing off of a taller mound than he usually does at home, and not to mention the fact that this is under the bright lights. I think GC was ready for it. That's a big swing and a miss. Lipoff had to trail outside there. The Gloucester Catholic fans ready to make their plans for Friday afternoon if they can hang on versus Bishop Eustace, who I'm sure they're waiting in the wings. They beat Doan Academy 9-3 to clinch their spot. They actually played on Tuesday. For what reason, I'm not sure, but that'll be an advantage to them because they are going to have an extra day of rest going into their Friday final, regardless of who they play. There's a swing and a miss. He got him. Roble down on strikes, and there's one away. That'll bring up Gargulio. He's 1 for 2. So Gargulio, and then Cox. Foul tip, 0-1. Gargulio had a single in the second. How about this for a little thing? I mean, the amount of runners that have been thrown out at either base to end innings. Gargulio was thrown out at second to end the second inning, and it happened to GC at least twice. And what I was worried about was that this game was going to spiral into an argument fest, which I don't think that prediction was entirely unfounded. I mean, listen, you know, Ranney's coach had a lot to complain about. Dennis Barth and their first base coach had a lot to complain about, especially in the fake tag argument in the first. I thought he was going to get thrown out of the game, but the umpires let him go, and now we're where we are. We've had a very calm last few frames. Here's the 0-2. They will say, yes, he got him. Smallets picks up another strikeout. It's 7 for Smallets. And the batter is Cox, the 9-hitter for Ranney. A trip to the sectional finals on Friday is on the line. With a beautiful nightcap, this game all alone in the entire state. Nobody else is playing right now, at least not that we know of. But as we said, all 4 games in the non-public A bracket were quite exciting. The non-public B bracket also delivered. As we said, Bishop Eustace won their game over the Doan Spartans, or Doan, I forget what they are. I think they're the Spartans. 9-3. Max Sullivan for Eustace hit a grand slam in that game. After Doan scored 2 runs in the top of the first, Eustace returned and then again blew it open late. This game, pretty prototypical for Gloucester Catholic. Pretty stereotypical. 1-1 is the ground ball out to short. It's picked up. They'll throw it down to first. It is in time! And Gloucester Catholic will prep their home field for Friday because they will host, for the umpteenth time, the South Jersey Non-Public B sectional final. They break it open with 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th, and they win it 12-3. They improve to 22-3 on the campaign, and one of the biggest hurdles that they had after a 4-3 regular season win over Ranney 2 weeks ago up in Brooklyn turns in a much more decided favor for the Rams this evening. How about that? Your player of the game, or your players of the game, it's going to be the 2-way tandem for Gloucester Catholic. Jackson Smallets, the Coastal Carolina commit, struck out 7 in the win and only allowed 3 runs and just a handful of hits in the game. And then after that, Braden Lipoff, for his 3 RBIs at the plate, will get you his second player of the game honors of 2025. We'll be right back in just a moment with our player of the game interview and our post-game show presented by DAWG Pro Wrestling. We'll be right back. We've got two players at a game this evening. Gloucester Catholic beats Ranney 12-3 to advance to the South Jersey non-public B final. Jackson, we're no strangers. We've talked to you before. This was an interesting game for you, though, taking advantage of a lot of interesting things for GC. Ranney committed 5 errors, and then you had 7 strikeouts on the hill in the win and only 5 hits allowed. First of all, how'd you feel out there today?
I felt great. The first inning was a little iffy. Let up a couple hits, and then I went back in the dugout and had to lock myself in, and I went back down there and shoved for my team.
Yeah, how did it – I mean, we've – obviously when we talked earlier in April, we talked about the mound at Kingsway. And anytime we talk to a Gloucester Catholic pitcher, it almost has to be asked, throwing from the mound. At Kingsway, it was an issue about the height. Here, it's the turf. How did you adjust to that, and did it take long to adjust? Maybe was that why the first inning went the way it did?
No, I definitely just got to use my legs more. When I don't think about using my legs, I definitely leave the ball up. Just like at Kingsway, I wasn't using my legs enough. I was leaving balls up, so I was thinking about driving down the mound, feeling out in front, and I was throwing strikes a lot today.
Of course, for Gloucester Catholic, this was a big day. First of all, congratulations on your commencement.
Thank you.
And we'll wish you the best of luck in Coastal Carolina in 2025. But this is obviously being a big day for Gloucester Catholic, having your commencement and a playoff semifinal game in the same day. How did you stay prepared for both games or both events equally?
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. Graduating high school is no small feat.
Graduation
I'm saying you got to keep your mind straight
talking about graduation
while
today?
you're walking. That I got to throw 100 pitches in 5 hours.
No, I was definitely at graduation. I was definitely like antsy. You know, sitting in my chair, my leg was shaking. I was just ready to get out of there and come here and just get ready to throw. So it was definitely had to get out of there and come here.
This, of course, being a big win for you guys. Now that you can secure home field advantage for Friday. How do you and your team feel going into Friday's final?
We feel great. Last year we came off a win, obviously, against Eustis last year, so I feel like we have the upper hand, and we've been hitting a lot. We've been hitting really good recently, so I feel like we should have it locked in for Friday. Absolutely.
12 runs and 9 hits for the Rams today. Thank you very much, Jackson. We're going to do the same thing we did back at Kingsway. We're going to have you sign the bottom of the scorecard because, well, of course, they're going to ask for a lot of them. Yeah, anywhere in the bottom. Yeah, just nice and big. Giving a lot of room for Braden Lipoff. We'll be talking to him. Jackson, thank you very much. And first of all, congratulations, and of course, best of luck at Coastal. He'll hand off the headset to his teammate, Braden Lipoff. We've talked to Smallets. We haven't talked to Lipoff before. Lipoff, you got me?
Yes, sir.
You could aim the mic a little bit further down, but we'll be okay. Remember, these people are not media trained. These are baseball players. Braden, you had a great day out there today. Had 3 RBIs, had that 2-run double that opened up the scoring when GC was trailing 1-0. This is a big game for everybody. Of course, I talked to Jackson, and one of the big things that I pointed out was that, playing on a turf field is never easy. And obviously the defensive side of it is that when you've got a ball that goes a little bit further down, could create some issues for the catcher there. First of all, I'll ask the very general question, how'd you feel there today?
I felt great today. Came ready to play, so that's all really good. I felt great.
Can't ask for much more than that. Like we said, Ranney was down 1-0. You bat with 2 runners on in the third. Get a good ball. I think it was a left center field gap. What were you thinking when you had that at bat up, or what were you thinking when you hit the ball off the bat with just getting your team in front with the first run?
Yeah, I was just looking for a pitch over the plate that I could drive. I wasn't looking for something I could do weak contact on, so I got a pitch over the plate that was up, a curveball up, so I drived it, got 2 runs in, got my team hype, and then we kind of got our momentum from there.
Absolutely. I think that without that 2-run double, maybe Mistero doesn't get the RBI single, or maybe, that 4-run inning is a little bit truncated. But it's always nice to see those big innings because that got you guys excited, and then you never let off the gas for the rest of the game.
Yep.
So going forward, Friday is the final. It's the rematch from last year, 1v2, Eustis versus GC. It's never a matchup that disappoints. It's always a matchup that you and your entire team take great pride in. How does it feel to go ring chasing again and go sectional championship chasing again on your home field?
I'm just ready to be back at Brooker. I don't think anybody can beat us at Brooker, so I'm ready to go on Friday.
Well, we'll have to see. And good news, we will be there on Friday. So maybe we'll talk to you again if you get some good wood on it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Braden, thank you very much. We're going to do the little DWB tradition. Jackson, I told him to sign it big. He didn't do that. But just sign it nice and big on the bottom of the scorecard.
Right here?
You can sign it anywhere on the bottom of the scorecard. We've done this tradition for a couple of years now as there you go. You recovered at the end. You'll have to get used to it at East Carolina.
Yep.
All right, there we go. Braden, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Best of luck on Friday, and we'll see you guys then.
Have a good night.
Braden Lipoff in full catcher's gear. Again, our players of the game presented by DIWG Pro Wrestling, our dogs of the game, Jackson Smallets and Braden Lipoff. What a night. Gloucester Catholic, scoring 5 runs in the 6th inning, getting the game away from them, and taking the win over Ranney 12-3 to bring themselves for goodness knows how many years in a row the South Jersey non-public B final on Friday afternoon at Joe Barth Field. I have good news. We're going to be there on Friday. So if you want to know where we're going to be right there in Brooklawn, right off of I think the elementary school out there in right center field. But you know what? It's going to be a good night. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So tomorrow we're at Audubon. My alma mater, we've got Shalleck and Audubon 4 o'clock in the South Jersey Group 1 sectional final. As it's going to be a fun night, it's going to be a fun next 72 hours for everybody involved here in South Jersey baseball. There's no other place to be, and there's no other place where you want to watch it. It's on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. That'll be all for us tonight here on DWB. Our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane and Carson Rosso, my producer, Damian Waiters, just off camera there. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you tomorrow at my alma mater, the Shalleck Cougars, in the Audubon Green Wave, 4 p.m. Be there or be square, just like the DWB logo. Have a good night, folks.